Welcome, Nomads, to the Nomad Nation Network. I am your host and fellow Nomad, Step Van Rav. This is Nomad News for Thursday, August 22nd, 2019. Before we get to our first story, guys, do me a favor and look right down there and click that little red subscribe button. Be sure to click the little bell right next to it. That way you'll get a new notification every single time that we upload a new episode of Nomad News. That way you'll stay in the know when it comes to everything in the Nomad Nation. Okay, guys, so if you remember in the last episode of Nomad News, I told that we had a sponsor on that episode and that they would be giving away 2 t-shirts in a bag to one of our subscribers. And I would be choosing, depending on I would be choosing my favorite comment or choosing one of our subscribers to give those t-shirts to. The subscriber that is going to receive the t-shirts is none other than one of my longer subscribers who's been watching my channel for quite some time and is very well deserving of these 2 t-shirts from Designer Basics, Mr. Jim Brooks. Mr. Jim Brooks has been watching my channel for a while before I even started the Nomad News, but when it was Vagabond days and I was just showing my van life or my RV life into my step van life. And he's always commented. He's always made great comments. He even shares my videos on his social media platforms like Twitter and Facebook. And so I don't feel like there's any other fan or any other subscriber that is more well-deserving than you, Mr. Jim Brooks. So, Mr. Brooks, all you have to do is email me at nomadnewstv@gmail.com. Tell me your shirt size and tell me where to ship your 2 t-shirts, and you will be getting 2 t-shirts in a bag from Nomad News. Thank you, Jim, for being such an amazing subscriber. I bet you thought, though, if you didn't get those 2 t-shirts, your luck had ran out, though, right? Well, wrong. Here's another giveaway, guys. If you are a fan of The Who and you like this t-shirt, I will be giving away 2 of these Who t-shirts in a small, medium, or large, I believe is what we have. I'm trying to figure out exactly how I want to start setting this up. So I'm going to try this and we'll see how this goes, okay? I think the person that will get the t-shirt is somebody who shares this video on your social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or whatever, and you make the best comment. You let me know that you shared it. You make the best comment, and that comment gets pinned in the comments. So whoever wants a Who t-shirt, if you're a fan of The Who, I know I am. If you're a fan of The Who and you like this t-shirt and you would like 2 of these t-shirts, be sure to share this video with your friends or wherever you want to share it, even with your non-friends, with your mortal enemies. Share the video, make a comment letting me know you shared the video, and give me a comment about the video, what you think. And if I pin your comment, you will be the winner of these 2 t-shirts, whoever gets the pinned comment. My comment will be pinned until I choose a winner. And then after my comment is unpinned and the winner is chosen, your comment will be pinned and you will be the winner of the t-shirts. We're going to try that, see how that goes. So if you want the t-shirts, that's what you got to do to get the t-shirts, guys. It's not that hard. So just share the video on one of your social media platforms. Let me know you shared it in the comments and then make a comment. And if I pin your comment, you are the winner of the t-shirt. If no comment gets pinned other than mine, then nobody wins the t-shirts, I guess. Is that how it's going to work? I have no idea. I think that's the only way to do it as of now. I'm going to try this. Hopefully it works. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, guys, on to our first story. All right, guys, if you remember last month, back on, I believe it was July 16th. Gosh, have we already been doing Nomad News that long? Wow. About a month ago, on July 16th, my good friend, the bread trucker, Paul Barger, if you remember, if you've seen that episode. If not, I will card it right here so you can go check it out. You'll see how far the shows came in you'll see the difference in the show just from then. I've been working trying to make this a little bit higher production value for you guys. But anyway, our good friend here at Nomad News, my really good friend, Paul Barger, a.k.a. Bread Trucker, he was pulled over by the POPO. Do you remember that video? That was during the Janelle Eliana uprising, the new queen bee of YouTube and van life. It was one of those videos when I decided to start this Nomad News genre platform. A good friend, Paul Barger, got pulled over by the POPO, and I reported on it. It was one of the first stories I did for Nomad News. And lo and behold, and let me mention, my good friend Paul Barger had been traveling around the country from Florida to California more than once and had not been pulled over in 2 years. Now, flashback to July 16th, he got pulled over. And what happened? Ta-da! He just got pulled over again. And this time he was crossing, him and his girlfriend were crossing, I believe, out of Oregon right into Idaho. And they had just come out of Oregon into Idaho, and there was 3 sheriffs, I believe, that was sitting there. And lo and behold, they pulled him over. Now, his video, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty much on fire right now. It seems to be going pretty viral. And there's good reason to be. He basically, if you watch the video, which I will card right here so you guys can go check it out, and I will put a link to Paul's channel down in the description, so you need to go check out his channel if you do not know who Paul Barger is. He is a great, good-hearted, good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he's the man that inspired me and encouraged me at RTR this year to get out of my beloved vintage 1982 camper van and get a step van and join him in the step van life. So if it had not been for Paul, I would not be driving the Snap-on truck that I have now, which is my home. So I always will have a thing of gratitude for Paul. So anyway, he does get pulled over in the video. I'll let you watch the video. We'll roll a scene of it right now.
Welcome back to my channel, and this is another episode of The Bread Trucker Meets the Cops. I was coming through this nice little mountain pass. We had just crossed over the border from Oregon into Idaho, and I saw this trucker flashing his lights at me. I knew there was cops ahead, but there was really nothing I could do at this point except just keep on driving and keep obeying the law. I'm going to slow it down right here, and you can see off in the distance, there's the trucker flashing his lights at me, and I could see him through the windshield telling me to slow it down. I'm going to zoom in right here so you can get a better view of the trucker flashing his lights at me. And just around the corner, a couple more bends, then there's 3 police officers sitting on the side of the road waiting for people to come through. Now, when I came through, here they are right here on the right side of the road. I came through completely obeying the law, doing nothing wrong, and they were just waiting for people to come through so they could pull them over. And here's one more time, zoomed in, just so you could see how they were sitting, waiting for the bread trucker to come along and get their spot on YouTube for the day. Well, it doesn't take long for them to catch up with me down the road and pull me over for a pretty silly reason. Let's take a look.
He's walking up because I can't see. He's gonna walk on this side, right? Hi there.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good, thanks. Deputy Fuqua at the White County Sheriff's Office. Reason I stopped you.
All right. So, Paul, as he did last time, he denies them looking around his truck. Now, why they're pulling him over, and let's talk about this for a second, because as a nomad, if you're traveling around, you are going to get pulled over eventually. And Paul getting pulled over twice in a month seems a little ridiculous to me when he was not speeding or breaking the law, and he got pulled over. So that just shows what's kind of going on out there. And, I am let's see, how do I put this? I am a supporter of the blue, the men and women in blue. If I need to call 911, I feel like I will call 911. 911, and I thank the police for coming out and helping me for whatever I call them for. I mean, that's what they do and they're putting their lives on the line when they go to work, which most of us are not. So that's, something different. So I do appreciate that aspect. But with that being said, I do not appreciate the part of which, if I could be in charge, I would design the police department different. Because like here in LA, we have like traffic enforcement officers, and we have like parking enforcement officers that are a completely different genre than the police. Like the people that go around in these little cars and they write parking tickets. I believe there should be like some kind of just regular traffic enforcement. That way you're not contaminating your regular police enforcement's name, because nobody, if you're a law-abiding citizen, if you're doing if you're getting up and, brushing your teeth and combing your hair and, getting the kids off to school, or, just doing everyday human things and working for a living, trying to make an honest wage, and you accidentally break some traffic law, or you do something, some of us break them on purpose, but let's say you break some traffic law, which is, they're laws for reasons, but let's say you break a traffic law, the speed limit is 55 and you're going 62, breaking the law, and you get pulled over by a police officer. It's a total negative feeling for us as citizens. And then it makes us dislike the people that are pulling us over, because it's really just a form of money extortion. They're just really extorting money out of us. And I mean, that's the bottom line. You can look at it any way you want to look at it, but that is the truth. It's just a way for counties, states, counties, cities, municipalities to extort money out of the citizens that live there. So if they need to generate income, they'll send their police force out in force to go pull over every citizen they can and write a ticket so they can get some new badges, or get some new uniforms, or get some new cop cars, or, maybe they were in a high-speed pursuit and wrecked 2 cop cars. They may need another one. We better write some more tickets, right? And if you notice in the 2 videos with Paul, they're basically pulling him over because they're seeing a generic looking unmarked former bread truck or step van that's just cruising down the highway, and that's raising their suspicions. So in this episode, the cop pulls him over, and they have to have a reasonable cause to pull you over, meaning you have to have broken a traffic law, or you have to have broken some law, even if it's your vehicle, like a headlight out or something like that. They do have to have a reason to pull you over. But the problem is they will basically look for any little thing to be able to pull you over. And in this case, I'm not going to give it away what they pulled him over for. I want you to go and watch Paul's video. But the thing that they pulled him over for actually made me angry, because I knew that it was just a way for them to be able to stop him, because what they're really after is they're looking for drugs. And I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a Democrat, and I don't really want to get into politics on this channel. I am, I'm a libertarian, and I want less government on the Republican side or the Democratic side. So I know people throw a fit when you hear of Planned Parenthood or the EPA or any of that stuff funding being cut. Democrats lose their mind. I rejoice. I don't care what it is. If it's NASA, if it's Planned Parenthood, even the EPA, I don't care. The government is too big, in my opinion. I want smaller government. The less government, in my opinion, the better. I know we have to have some, but it's way out of hand these days. We have way more government than what we need. So it doesn't hurt my feelings any when I hear some government funding or, anything like, if funding gets cut to it, I don't care. Great. I clap, See ya. So anyway, back to the police, until we actually, as citizens, get rid of this whole war on drugs thing, police officers across this nation are going to continue to be able to just randomly pull us over, because what they're really looking for are suspicious vehicles or vehicles on the road. Anything that they think makes you look suspicious, they will find something wrong with your vehicle, or they will follow you until you break a traffic law so they can pull you over. And all they're wanting to do is search your vehicle for drugs. So as long as we are allowing, as the citizens, this ongoing drug war that was started during the Reagan days, the war on drugs, over the years, ever since the war on drugs that was enacted by Reagan, our rights have just been violated. They're always being violated by the police. In this stop, I think Paul handled it very well. They even used a canine dog to go around his truck because, like I said, they are all about the drugs. It's all about finding drugs. That's their key priority, is looking for drugs. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if it's cocaine, if it's heroin, if it's marijuana, if it's LSD, if it's acid, I don't care what substance it is. I want it all legal. All legal, because if it's legal, the cops then can no longer stop us and harass us for any of the drug laws. And when it comes to people overdosing, yes, there are a lot of people that have overdosed on heroin. Understand that. But you're not going to stop them. They're still doing it. They're still overdosing on heroin. But other than that, what they're really doing is nowadays people are overdosing and dying on legal prescription opiates that are legally prescribed. You don't see the cops sitting outside the doctor's office checking your pockets after you leave the doctor's office to see what he subscribed you. That's what's killing people. Michael Jackson died of that. Prince died of that. There's been several other celebrities recently that have died from opiates from prescribed medication, even from doctors. So this whole war on drugs, let's randomly pull people over, they're just basically violating our rights. And it's what it is. Until we can, across the board, until you legalize drugs, they're always going to use that to pull us over. It's just the nature of the beast. So that's on us. I mean, we have to get at our politicians, and we have to get those laws changed. Now, I have a lot of disagreements when it comes to California on things, the way they do things. But one thing that they do and have done right is legalizing marijuana in the state. I don't even smoke marijuana. Now, I know at RTR, there was a lot of people, everybody thinks that everybody that lives in a van or lives mobile are all potheads, or they all indulge in the devil's lettuce, and they're all vegan. Well, I hate to bust your bubble, but I am a hardcore carnivore, and I don't really smoke the devil's lettuce. It's just not my thing. Now, I like to drink, but I like to have an occasional drink. I like Jameson and I like Corona, but I don't really smoke. Now, what I will say is I'm a huge insomniac. Like right now it is 12:10 in the morning. So I am a huge insomniac. So I had a friend of mine that did give me one of the CBD oil pens I don't think it has much THC in it, if it even does have any THC in it. And I will hit that thing from time to time if I'm having a really hard time sleeping. And it's so funny because I can hit that thing 3 or 4 times and I'm out in the dreamland. So anyway, back to Paul and getting pulled over. I think he handled this very well. One thing I will say, though, is, these cops, they ask a lot of questions. The police officer asked him a lot of questions. Now, she ended up being very cool, but she asked him a lot of questions that you do not really have to answer. So that is on your own onus if you want to answer these questions, because she was asking him, where are you coming from? Where have you been? He gave her his driver's license and it was Florida. So I'm sure alarm bells went off there. But one thing you really can do is you can say, I don't answer questions. And that may set a police officer off. So you have to be careful with this. I mean, it is a slippery slope, however you handle it. I think Paul handled it very well. Watch his video. Let me know what you think. But he does answer a lot of questions that you do not have to answer. It's none of their business where you're coming from. It's none of their business where you're going. This is America. You do not have to answer those questions. You can say, I don't answer questions. And whatever they ask you, you can just say, I don't answer questions. Now, Paul did refuse them once again to look inside his rig. And I know that they were just dying. Both times he's been stopped, the cops were dying to get a good look inside his rig. This time, they run the canine units around his rig for drugs. So, and then they admitted that basically they pulled him over and violated his rights because they're looking for drugs on the on the interstate or on the roads. And from where it looked like a very remote area out in the freaking middle of nowhere pretty much. But they pulled him over, run the dog around his truck. Nothing was found. And, Paul was on his way. But the reason they pulled him over was a pretty hokey reason. And, as nomads, when we get pulled over, one thing I will say that most people do not know this is the police are not your friends. They are not your friends, no matter how cool they act. It's always nice to get a cooler acting police officer than one that's a complete dick, but they're still not your friends. I mean, they go through manipulation in the academy. They learn how to lie, how to manipulate. And when they're asking you questions, that's my friend Paul texting me right now. So, when they are asking you questions, they are looking for you to say something that incriminates you or that gives them more probable cause to take their investigation further, to be able to really look at your, to be able to search your rig or maybe get a search warrant. That's why they want to carry on conversation with you. So the best thing that you can do, I'm not a lawyer first. Let me give a disclaimer. I am not a lawyer, but I think the best thing you can do is when talking to a police officer is tell them as little as possible. So my advice to you as a nomad, if you're pulled over by the police, is be very cordial, be very nice, and answer as little questions as you can. And don't lie to them, because if you lie to them and they can find you that you're lying, if they can prove that you're lying, they can arrest you for that. So that is the best reason to just be quiet. If they ask you, where are you coming from? Down the road. Where are you headed? Down the road. Where were you yesterday? I just don't think I'm going to answer any more questions. That's the best thing you can do, in my personal opinion. Now, a lot of cops, if you're, you could set them off. So like I said, it's good to be cordial. You can watch Paul's video. I think he handled it very, very well. It was actually a pretty good cordial thing between the cop and Paul. And the lady cop in the end seemed to be pretty cool. But she did basically, in that video, tell him that they were violating people's rights and just pulling people over looking for drugs for whatever reason. So that is a violation of our constitutional rights if they're not pulling you over with real proper probable cause, just randomly pulling everybody over. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for that story. Be sure to go to Paul's video, watch his video. Be sure to comment in his comments and let him know that I sent you over there from Nomad News, and give me some kudos and give me a shout out so he knows. And I believe Paul's probably going to be calling in here in a future episode. I'm going to get him to call in and we're going to discuss this. So if you have any comments or any questions or anything, ask them down in the comment section. And when Paul calls in, maybe we'll go over some of your questions. But anyway, that's going to do it for that story, guys. And on to our next story. All right, guys, into our next story. A lot of people I got a few emails, not a lot of people, but some people were asking why I wasn't covering the Sasnak. He's the trucker that actually was at RTR this year, and he has kind of befriended the Nomad community. I think he's good friends with Hobo Tech and a couple other nomads, and he ended up wrecking his truck well, I guess it was a month ago or 2 months ago, and he had kind of disappeared, and we hadn't heard from him. But I just want to say, guys, I try to just cover the nomads. I mean, this is Nomad news, and even though he is, I guess, kind of like a, how would you say it? He's been invited into the nomad community. He's still a trucker that lives in the Dallas area, I do believe, and is married and has a house. So that, to me, even though I've seen this truck, I've stood right outside this truck at RTR this year. It is a beautiful truck. He does, he's kind of a, what would you say? He's been kind of like, welcomed into the nomad community, but he's still not what I consider a nomad. He's not living full time in a vehicle, which is who I'm concentrating on. I'm not really even concentrating on the part-timers. I want to concentrate on those of us that actually live the van life or the RV life or the step van life, that are actually living and dwelling in our vehicles. If you have a house to go to that you're staying at even half the year, to me, you're not really a full-time nomad. So I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. It's just kind of the way it is. And I'm trying to really cover the nomads. And that's what this is all about. This channel is all about. And that's why I really didn't say anything about the SAS Neck. It's very unfortunate what happened. That was a really beautiful truck, beautiful Peterbilt. The sleeper on that thing that he basically was his suite. I mean, he had this extra large sleeper, was just as nice as pretty much any RV you'll see. It was really, really nice, and it's really a shame that that happened. But the most important thing is he's okay. He walked away from it. He does show the wreck, so I will go ahead and roll that right now. Roll it. Yeah, so evidently what happened was he spilt his coffee and took his eyes off the road and drifted into the barrier there. I will go ahead and link to his video right up here and link his channel down below. But I just want to say, guys, in the future, I'm trying to keep it with the nomads. You know what I mean? I know some of the other news channels talk about the bottom of YouTube or, other things other than nomads. I'm trying to keep this strictly pretty much for us full-time nomads. This is, that's why it's called Nomad News. He's an honorary member of the nomad community. So there you go, guys. The few people that emailed me asking why they hadn't seen anything about Sasnak's crash, now you have. And guys, our next story really isn't news. It's not a story. It's going to be our episode shout out to one of the smaller YouTubers. And it's going to be for none other. Oh, it's going to be another dramaless channel, dramaless YouTube couple that you won't find any drama on their channel. And it's going to be a shout out to my really good friends, Tom and Lori from Tom and Lori's RV Life. I adore these two. I met these two when my first 6 months of RV life in my camper van. I was up in Bakersfield, California, which I didn't know a whole lot about, but I stayed at a RV park there that was called Bear Lake RV Park or something in those regards. I should remember I did a review of the park. I was very impressed because it was like $27 a night and you didn't have to have any kind of, discount memberships or anything like that. It was just $27 a night. There wasn't a whole lot of amenities. There was a shower and, full hookups and stuff like that, but it's still in California and it was $27 a night. So I pulled in there for one night and ended up staying, I think 3 nights, and they ended up being my neighbors. And they saw me outside doing a YouTube video and walked up and introduced themselves. And so we have been friends ever since. And that was over a year ago, probably going on 2 years ago. And they actually came to RTR and parked beside myself and my other friend Sarah. So if you saw any of my RTR videos and vlogs for Vagabond Days, you probably saw them in my videos. So they are small YouTubers, but they are very, very chill, no drama, just a cute little couple, and worth a subscribe, I think. Go over there and check them out. Be sure to tell them that if you end up subscribing and liking their content, be sure to tell them in their comments that you found their channel from Nomad News. That's going to do it for this episode of Nomad News. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And remember, guys, if you can't be good, at least be good at it. Peace. Safe travels, Nomads.